Hello, Denimheads, and welcome to your 20th Hangout with the Sons of Selvedge podcast. This is a podcast where a group of friends get together to talk about denim, rugged wear, and related interests. We aim for this to be a fun and inclusive podcast where you feel like you're hanging out with longtime friends, but be warned there's a bit of banter, cutting up, and explicit language. In this episode, we'll be hanging out with two friends in our denim community who also happen to be women. So welcome to Kelly Harrington, aka Kelluar, Kellouhar on Instagram, and Amanda Barnes, aka 23ounce.indigo on Instagram as well. How's everybody doing?
Good, thanks.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, so super great to have you on the podcast, and obviously we've got Ilya and Lex hanging out with us as well. So yeah, I thought today just be kind of cool to talk to you both about denim, and yeah, I guess denim. Cool. So maybe to kick things off, we've obviously kind of talked about some topics that we wanted to kind of go through together, but I guess maybe to kick things off, how did you both get into denim?
So you can go first, Kelly.
Oh God, thanks. So I've been a long-standing collector of denim ever since I was quite young. I think my first memory of being super into it was perhaps when I think it was like my 18th birthday or my 21st birthday. I think it was 18th actually, where I got my parents to buy me a Levi's denim jacket. It was like the top of my list. So that was kind of like my earliest memory of really kind of starting to really be into it. I've still got the jacket. And I still wear it. It's not like a super collectible piece or anything. It's just something that holds a lot of memories. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I really love it. So that's how my first kind of take in denim. And then I just kind of like carried on collecting it really, because it was something that I would always go back to. For me, it was like a blank canvas. Wearing denim is kind of, I could never go wrong if you're wearing jeans and a denim jacket. I work in fashion as my everyday job, and part of my job is that I'm a trend forecaster. So I'm rapidly looking for new trends, and denim was one of those things that I always was drawn to, and never went out of fashion. It isn't a trend as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. But that's my kind of first initial kind of step into denim. Yeah.
So mine wasn't as like denim from the start. I did work experience at Reebok as a product developer, and then I got a job as a garment tech, but I didn't design at uni. So I said to them, look, I didn't enjoy garment tech at all. It just was not for me. I wanted to design. So I said to them, look, I want to design. I don't want to do this. And they said, oh, we want you to stay. But the only position was on the design side. So I was like, on the denim side, sorry. So I was like, yeah, cool, I'll give it a go. And then obviously once you're in it, like it just gets you, I feel like it's a bug once you start seeing how it's made and how people wear it and the things you can do with it and the care that's taken. And it's not just a pair of jeans like it is. It's so much more. Then I was hooked and I just wanted to learn more and more. And that's kind of how I've been going ever since.
And ironically, I don't think I've ever actually asked Ilya or Lex the same question. What about you guys? Like, how did y'all first get into denim?
Lex, do you want to go first, or do you want me to jump in on this
I can jump in.
Okay, you go.
So For me, so I also did a fashion degree, so my background's fashion, and I used to wear horrible jeans. I used to wear True Religion bootcut jeans.
They're back now, though.
Oh, there we go. So I've probably still got them in the attic somewhere. So maybe the next meet I'll turn up with my bootcut jeans on. Anyway, one day I went into Son of a Stag just looking around because I live near there, and I got in a sale a pair of Edwin washed but salvaged jeans that were quite nice jeans still. And I was like, they cost about maybe 80, 90 quid, the most expensive pair I'd ever bought at the time. And then as I was leaving, the guy in the shop just got a pair of raw ED55s out, and he's like, next time you should buy these. And I left the shop and I couldn't get them out of my head. So I went back and bought them like a few months later. And then I was like, well, I can make clothes. Why don't I try making them? And then a few years later, I've got a mountain full of machines. And I hang out with you guys just to talk about denim. And that's about it. Ilya.
I've just always been surrounded by it, I guess, with my family. So my dad always used to wear jeans. My brother did, my mom did, and so naturally I was wearing it as well. So yeah, it just had always some kind of appeal to me. There was also a story that my dad told me that back in when he was as a kid, maybe like a teenager or something, his dad was in the merchant navy, and so he would travel around the world, and he brought him a pair of Levi's back. So he was, one of the only people in town with a pair of Levi's. So that story always was kind of stuck in the back of my mind that, okay, there's something special about this pair of jeans. So I guess that was kind of the intro to denim itself, and then into the raw denim and that kind of taking that seriously was probably around 2012, and I went on the search for a really good pair of jeans. I've been wearing H&M and other brands, and I just wanted something a little bit with meatiness and a little bit of weight. So I was doing research and found out there was Rivet and Hyde in London. Went along there and got my first pair of jeans, which was a 316 pair, and then from then on, yeah, just been kind of addicted to it. Like Amanda says, once you get that bug, you kind of, that's it. You're hooked.
So one thing I have to mention. So I know you said, Kelly, that boot cuts like back in style again, and I have to ask, have you seen the Saturday Night Live sketches with the trend forecasters?
Oh my God, no! I need to see that.
It's literally like so funny that I'd almost like stop this recording and say like, let's come back in half an hour after watching them. They're like insanely funny. So in short, they did three instances of this before the two people retired. So one was A.D. Bryant and Bowen Yang. They're like two of the comedians on Saturday Night Live. And in both cases, they'd like come in and basically give their trend forecasts for the episode. So they're like, in this and this and that, out this and that, and they just do like really crazy things. So like, in not cleaning up the gym equipment when you're done, out showing people your hairy chest at the gym or whatever, and just kind of like weird fashion things. And then the best part is they basically are like, I don't know, bootcut jeans, you can go to hell, and they would just like start like shouting and going crazy about like what was like not trendy, and they're like super kind of mode, Rick Owens kind of sci-fi looking apparel. It's really funny, but I'll definitely I'll share the links right after this, and if folks at home haven't seen it, you can Google Saturday Night Live trend forecasters, and there's like 3 different videos, and it's hysterical. But yeah, I guess kind of getting back to like actual industry experience. So Kelly and Amanda, what can y'all say about like your journeys in the industry and working, kind of like once you got into denim and you're working in it, like, is there any kind of interesting anecdotes about that experience?
You go first this time,
Amanda. So I don't know if I have any anecdotes. I'm not very good at them, but I think I kind of worked more on the supply side. So I was designing and supplying to the high street, and I was very lucky with my supplier that I got to go out to lots of different factories. That's like the best thing ever. Like, if I hadn't have had that, I don't think I would have known as much as I have. I wouldn't have had all the experiences that I've had. And like, yeah, some of them were quite tough trips, but some of them, like the getting to walk around, like I'd always ask to go and see, to like have a walk around the factories, because I always learned something new, like the way they were cutting things, the way they were dyeing things, just like seeing things like the fabric coming off the roll, seeing how immense the factories are. So yeah, I think on a supply side, I was very lucky in the job that I had and the experience I was able to have through that. So yeah.
And I guess I'm probably slightly different to you, whereas I'm more like a kind of concept or like trend led person. So I would work with mills to design their new, like, or not new necessarily, but design a collection with them. Or sometimes I work with brands to design like either capsule collections or if they want input on creative ideas. And then some brands I work with kind of on a social side, with wearing their new upcoming jeans, promoting their new like sustainable processes that they've got in place. So a real range, I think, of different type of aspects of my work, I guess.
Yeah, denim's an interesting one, because like we're all kind of alluding to how we experience it in different ways, but it seems like, I think for every one of us on the call, we've spent some time, in a factory floor or in a design studio or a place where we're working with this fabric and designing things and making things, and it feels like it really changes our understanding of this material in the same way that, like, if you go to a coffee roaster, then you see coffee differently, right? Or like if you go to a farm, you see cheese differently, whatever. But one thing that also I'm interested in is, I wonder if denim has a different meaning to you as women than it might to like your average bloke who's into, his 24 ounce or 32 ounce Iron Hearts or whatever. Like, is denim different for you as women?
I think it's different for me personally, because I have like two worlds of denim. I have like my job side, where it's like where I'm designing for a more commercial side, and I do really enjoy that, but it's almost like in this world I feel like it's not as it's like maybe not as seen as such a good thing, but I get to have fun there, and I do really enjoy designing, and I enjoy designing for women and making clothes accessible to them. And then I have my other side of denim, which is, I think, where my commercial side's driven me down this path to the salvage, the raw denim, and really wanted to hone my craft and know about it, and meeting you guys, and yeah, it took me to this community. So I think I don't see it as like, personally for a woman it's different, because I have the same, like we have the same, we're looking for a good pair of jeans and we want it to fit us, we want it to be comfortable, and it depends what level you're looking for. And yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the only thing that's different for me is the fit and the cut. For women it's different, but saying that, I always wear boys jeans, so because they, I think, are better. I'm gonna say it, but yeah, I've got loads and loads of men's jeans, either they're vintage or they're new. I will often buy, I love a baggy pair of jeans, so maybe that's why I tend to favour the men's department.
What do you think makes them better, Kelly?
Well, for a start, when you go to a women's shop that's selling jeans, they will, I'd say 99% of them will be stretch denim. I am personally not a fan of stretch denim. I do have some, but they will normally be kind of 1% stretch with a tiny little bit of stretching. But there is a big difference even in the washes, and it's very rare that you'll find a pair of Selvedge jeans on the women's department. But as soon as you go to the men's department, there seems to be a lot more choice. Even in commercial stores like H&M or Uniqlo, there's not really the same choice as women's. I was actually in Uniqlo the other day, and there was Selvedge on the men's but not on the women's. Whether it's real or not, I don't know, but but you know, that it's just the choice is not the same. The washes are not quite my personal preference either. But so I would always gravitate towards the men's department.
Do you think that's because generally, I'm being very general here, do you think guys are a little bit more details driven when it comes to things like that? Or do you think it's just the market's not where it should be, and brands are not really catering for women enough?
I think that when you go to women's stores, they're generally more fashion focused and more trend led, which is great sometimes. But when you're looking for a pair of jeans, I personally want them to be good quality. I want them to last. I want them to be the best fabric, and I will pay money to get those features. So but it's not the same for women, I don't think. But some people would disagree with me. But it's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
I think as well there's a lot more choice of other things to choose from for women, like, you know, in terms of like dresses, skirts, like, do you know, like that take you away from buying a pair of jeans. So I think that's why there's not as much choice on the jean side. It's demand, isn't it? It's driven by demand.
And the women's departments are based on more fast fashion kind of concepts. So if you find a pair of jeans that you do like in the store, the likelihood that they're going to be back there the following year and you can buy your favorite pair again is just almost doesn't happen. Whereas with a men's store, you're going to have those same cuts and the same quality year in, year out. People go to buy their favorite cut, and you know it will be there again, hopefully. So that's one of the things, like, I know what I'm going to get. I know I'm going to be able to buy it again. So I think it is quite different for women. I think it's more fashion based. And I don't think that there's one store in London for women that only sells jeans, which someone needs to do.
New business venture.
There used to be that place in East London, I think it's called Shit Denim, that was just women's.
Oh, what's that one?
I've got a feeling they closed down. It was mostly vintage, but it was a women's wear, like they do it interesting vintage.
Yeah.
I think Shit Denim, but I've got a feeling they closed down. But you're right, that's the only one I've ever heard of. I've never heard of.
And you've got like places like Selfridges and Liberties that have great denim hauls. You know, there's hundreds of pairs of denim in there. But even I get confused. I mean, and I know my denim brands, and I know fits, and I know cuts, and I know what I like. But even when I go shopping in those stores, I find it very difficult to navigate the women's jean department, because there are so many jeans, and all of them have nearly got stretching. Apart from maybe some of them that are made from vintage denim that have been remade, those brands. But then you are talking like £400, £500 for a pair of those. So that's
Yeah,
why
it's
I shop in the
interesting.
men's department.
It's interesting. I guess like if I look back at my own buying habits as a man, I often it's all about kind of predictability and consistency. So it's like if I find a shirt that fits, I'll buy like 5 colors of that same shirt over years, and like I won't even look at different ones. I'll just keep buying that same one again. It's like, oh, I need the blue one, I need the black one, and then my
Yeah.
wardrobe ends up being like repeats of the same thing. Or it's like I found the jean I want, now I need the black one, and and I'll almost like ignore other products I haven't tried before because that like that's risk, right? Or it's effort. I'm not sure which of the two. But it sounds like you're saying that for the woman buyer, that something new, that something different, that kind of like stepping outside of the comfort zone and trying new stuff seems like it maybe is more important than kind of always going back to the exact same thing time and time again.
Yeah, I think especially when you're buying a pair of jeans, it's like if you found a cut and a fit that you like, you want to be able to buy it again. And sometimes that just isn't available with the women's wear because it's very renewed in a very fast pace, which is great if you're buying a dress and you don't obviously want to wear the same dress to a wedding or a party or whatever. But yeah, for jeans, I kind of want to know what I'm going to get. Or I have to start the process again of trying like hundreds of pairs of jeans on to find my perfect pair.
Can I just quickly jump in and fact check myself, because we seem to get fact checked. Shit Denim is Mosin's old blog.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
It's called Bad Denim, so I wasn't a million miles off.
Oh,
So-
bad denim. Okay.
So
Bad
Mosin,
Denim's
if
still
you're listening
around.
to this, you don't need to fact check us.
Are they still around, Bad Denim?
No, they've closed down.
Yeah, I remember that place. I mean, I never went in, obviously, but I remember when they were kind of becoming popular. Like I think they got written up in a few news blogs and stuff. That's a shame.
But I mean, as you said, there's very little like out there directly for women, and the one place that was, I think, quite good seems to have closed down, which is a shame.
Yeah, so there are, for me, there's only like Selfridges, Liberties. They're quite good for different brands, but there isn't like a specialist shop. I'd love it if there was a women's specialist shop.
Yeah, it seems like there's maybe a market driver that's causing things to be the way they are, or maybe like a wrong hypothesis that says women want change, women want adventure, women want different, but actually maybe the market and the industry is getting it wrong, and actually women want stuff they can trust and find consistently, and that obviously we can't change the world of fashion overnight, but it seems like there's some notion of, hey, brands, like make a great jean for a woman and like stick with it, keep it available, and make sure that folks can kind of always come back to that fit they love and get it in different colors and things like that over time.
Yeah, even Levi's is very difficult to know what you're going to get sometimes. They change their styles up quite a lot.
I guess I think there's maybe a bit of advice that you both have that might help, let's say, women listeners who in theory want to get into raw denim or selvage and maybe haven't taken that first step. Like what advice might you give in terms of where to start, brand wise, fit wise, fabric wise? Like what's do you have any advice?
I think just go and try a load on, like Kelly was saying. Just start the process and like just go into men's stores and try men's on as well, because they can be quite intimidating, even for men, let alone women going in and it's specifically meant to be a men's store. They kind of look as if you're not the customer and you don't exist. So I walk around like some of the salvage denim places thinking I'm a customer and you don't see me as that, which is quite annoying. So I'd say definitely just go to all the good salvage and denim stores, and also try vintage, try secondhand, like just so you're not having to spend a lot on to start with. I'd definitely say like start looking for secondhand ones first or vintage, and workwear is a great place to start. Just to transition, if you've always worn maybe like elastane or stretched stuff, then starting with workwear and then getting into heavier denim. And vintage can help you find what kind of things you like, what kind of details you like. So,
yeah. So trying on is definitely top of my list. Like, and don't go in with a kind of like preconceived idea that you don't look good in baggy jeans because you're short like me, or you don't look good in a certain type of fit or cut. I think you have to try them on to be able to really see what you like, and your mind can really change from that. Also, I always take the shoes that I'm gonna wear because girls wear high heels and like jeans look so different with different shoes when you're a woman. So I always wear the shoes or take the shoes that I'm going to wear with it. I normally always, if I buy raw selvage denim, I tend to like one rinse, just because they're a little bit softer, a bit more wearable for women in like comfort wise. I always tend to size up and then get them taken in, but that's because I normally love a baggy pair of jeans. So, and then shopping vintage, I always buy bigger and then get them fitted properly if I need to, or like changed on the leg, or like customized somehow so that they're like a bit more personal. What else can I think of? But if you're buying them in a vintage pair in the store, I normally do that trick where you like measure them with your arm or around your head if you can't try them on. So if you measure them from your arm, then they normally are going to fit your waist.
Is that the like elbow to wrist thing or something like that, where you can kind of figure out if they're gonna?
Yeah, or you can put it around your neck as well. Yeah. That's if you can't try them on, because sometimes it's really difficult if you're going to buy a pair of vintage jeans and you're in a flea market and you can't try them on and you don't know your measurements.
Your neck's the same as your waist?
Yeah, if you put it round.
Oh, half neck.
Yeah, like all the way around the waist part. Yeah.
Is that the same for men?
Oh, I don't know actually.
I've never thought about
it. It's supposed to be.
I always do that one. I always do that one. That seems to work for me.
Yeah. So if you can get your arm into the waist of the jean, then it should fit you. Yeah. Obviously, I make sure that it's bigger, so I love to make it baggy.
If I think of like tailored shirts, they always have like the neck measurement, right? So like 15.5-inch neck, 16-inch neck, 16.5-inch neck, whatever. And I think about roughly what size I need if I measure a pair of jeans flat. I think there is like a rough, I mean, they're not exact 1-to-1, but there's like definitely like some similarity between those two measures. So that maybe there's something interesting there.
Yeah, I think Leonardo da Vinci did something about that.
The golden ratio, whatever.
The Vitruvian Man.
Watch the movie Pi if folks haven't seen it. That goes really down the whole rabbit hole of that Darren Aronofsky film. One thing that came to mind is around Amanda, your point about kind of getting into workwear a bit. For folks that may not know what exactly that means, is that something like buying a pair of like Wrangler sort of cowboy jeans, or what exactly were you thinking by that?
So I kind of think like French chore jackets and like the herringbone like French workwear pants, and like they have really cool wears if you can get old ones like patches, and they're really nice and worn down, so they're quite soft and they tend to look really good on women. It's just weird. I just think they fit me really well. So yeah, I think the look of them, I just really love them. I just think everyone's different, like every pair, every jacket. So I really love them. I think they look really great. So I think that's a good way to start. And you can pair them with, it's not like you want somebody getting into raw denim to not just throw away their whole wardrobe and start again. You want them to be like matching in with what they've got, and obviously like from a sustainable aspect, matching things with investment pieces is the best way to go. Like, not just start again. You can just mix and match.
Yeah, I love a bit of workwear.
Yeah, it's interesting. So y'all actually mean like the real deal vintage workwear from like the 50s and 60s, whatever, not modern day kind of like whatever they call workwear, like construction site clothing. You mean like the real deal from
Like the
back in?
indigo, like twill French workwear. You can get like little dungarees and chore jackets and kind of like painter pants, kind of. Yeah.
Are any brands today kind of making modern recreations of that sort of stuff?
I think a lot of people have taken the chore jacket and done it in their own way, like painter jackets. They've done amazing chore inspired jackets. So I do think that, I mean, the chore is like a staple, I think, in most people's wardrobe that's kind of on this side, even who's not on this side. It's like it goes in and out of fashion as well. So yeah, I think that's I think everyone does a kind of version of a chore, so it's a good place to start.
Yeah, even brands like APC, and they've always had like a chore jacket in their kind of collection.
And for those that don't know, is that Painter Paynter?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love all their branding, and their I think it's their emails that have like 3 numbers at the bottom, and they don't tell you what the links are, but they're just links that they think you might like, so they're a nice surprise when you go on them.
That's cute.
I'm
Blog
sure.
looks
I think
cool.
it's cool. They just are doing some really nice little things with just a basic style. They're not like messing around with it, but they're really looking at the fabrics and how it's made. So yeah.
Yeah, I just randomly clicked on this like women's chambray work shirt, and it looks super cool, and it doesn't look too intimidating where it's like, wow, could someone wear that? But it like looks super cool and easy to get into. That's a good shout. I think APC as well, because I know their styles are kind of never too much men's or women's focused. They're kind of more unisex styles.
Yeah.
So they seem like they're really kind of not generalized, but made to be very adaptable for different people for that purpose, which is cool.
I think there's quite a lot of brands. We didn't talk about brands, did we? But you did ask before about who would you recommend. So I think everyone knows that my favourite is Dawson Denim. Like, absolutely love them. They were one of the first that I started getting into, and I think it was because we went and met them. And I think when you meet the person behind the brand, it just gives a whole different look on like what you like and why you like them. So there will always be my number one. Like, I have a pair of their raw which I won't wash because I just love them, but they're a little bit tight at the moment now. And then I managed to find a second-hand pair which were exactly the same, but this person's washed them, so they look completely different, and I just love that. And then like Girls of Dust, they were another brand that I got into quite early on, and they do some great stuff. And then, there's so many more, but I'm sure Kelly knows a few more.
I'm probably going to be really controversial and say some really crazy brands. Yeah, there's loads, but my denim that I wear is really like ranges from kind of like one day I want to be the girl wearing Selvedge, the next day I will wear some crazy customized outfit, and so the brands that I really like are really different. So I love a pair of Margiela jeans. I've got quite a few, and they are usually new, very fashiony, and they've always got some kind of crazy side to it. So I've got some pairs that have got like zips on the knees that come up and turn into shorts. I've got like some really crazy washes, some with like an envelope stuck to it. So that's like really crazy kind of thing. And then I really I've actually got some here with me, so I'm gonna show. I really like this brand, Kaijner Schneider. They do like loads of like denim made from vintage. So this shirt was made from the hangers that you choose. When you're a designer, you get like hangers where you can choose the washes. And this is pieced together from those like denim swatches. So it's like made from old fabric swatches, which I love.
Can you show us the label up close?
It's a Ukrainian brand. Well,
yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm sitting in the dark here, aren't I? Maybe I need to put a light on.
While we're talking about recycled denim, well, we need to mention White Weft. She's doing some great stuff.
Oh yeah. She's got some great things. I also love Pepino denim.
Oh yeah.
I love this brand because basically all the lights on. All of the fits are kind of like very menswear based. But they maybe like this jacket's kind of like slightly A-line, but it's like modeled on a very like menswear kind of piece. And I've got the matching jeans, which I love because they've got this like hooks that you can hook them up with. Like I just love them just for that. Yeah, and then what other brands?
Anything with hooks always gets stuck on a door handle somehow. I don't know why, but it always happens.
Yeah, I just love it. Like they're super massive on me, and I normally have to do them up with a shoelace around the belt, but I love them. They're like my favorite. And then I really love. I hope I'm going to say this right. Is it Hewitt denim? Hyatt denim? Hyatt.
Hewitt.
Is that how you say it?
Well, the brand is Hyatt, right? But Dave's name is something different than the brand name, if I understand correctly.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I love these. I have a couple of pairs in different washes, and these are actually Selvedge as well, which is unusual. I
guess Meghan Markle rocked some Hyatts and then they went crazy afterwards, right?
Yeah. I think their whole philosophy is amazing though. Like do one thing well, and like I think they've put out their latest album, the 1% or something like that, that free as a PDF, which is amazing. And their albums are so nice, like to look at. Really loads of really good information.
And when you say album, do you mean like their seasonal collection book, or is that something different?
They do like a yearbook, and it's almost like lessons learned and just information, like nice information for people to read. Just inspiring things. It's really good. Like they're amazing at marketing, but it's just a great product as well.
Yeah, and they only focus on jeans, don't they? Although I wish that they would have a jacket, because I'm one of those people that loves the denim set. Like I love it when you get like a matching set, and I just really want a matching jacket.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah,
that's actually that's a good question actually, because I think with guys men really worry about the whole double denim Canadian tuxedo thing, but I feel like women more embrace just like going all in, like looking amazing with a whole bunch of indigo. Do you have any advice for kind of like really embracing the look and not being afraid to have like 2 pieces of denim on, etc.?
Oh my god, I wear like sometimes 4 or 5 pieces. I'm literally like the more the merrier. I've got like denim shoes, denim sneakers, denim bags, denim hats. Like I'll do the whole lot. I don't care. I really like it, and I also am a fan of like mixing the washes as well. But I do, saying that, I love being able to go to my wardrobe and picking up a matching jacket and a matching jean. It's almost like an outfit, and like I don't even have to think about it if it like is the same wash. Either has to be like the same or completely different.
Makes sense.
I think we can get away with it a bit more because I don't know about you, Kelly, but I know everyone around me knows that I'm into denim, so they're like, oh, it's just Amanda wearing denim again. So I can just wear as much as I like.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't care how many denim pieces I'm wearing. Literally, I went to Fashion Week in Copenhagen and I had a denim dress, a denim shirt that was made from like patches of Wrangler shirts patched together with a bandana sewn on the back, and then I had a denim bag that was made from it was actually a Kaiser Schneider bag with made from denim pieces. It looked a bit like a rug, but it was a bag. And I don't think I had denim shoes on then either, but it was quite a lot of blow.
It's funny you say that, like a rug that's a bag. Apparently the Game of Thrones, what do you call it? Like the Black Watch? I forgot what they were called. The guys up on the wall of ice.
Yeah.
They're
Night
big
Watch.
black furry. Yeah, the Night Watch. Thank you. Sorry. Their big kind of furry suits were apparently made from IKEA rugs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like cut up some black
Cool.
fuzzy rugs. On the topic of like style inspiration, is there anyone that you both look to online, social media or in person, that you think really just kind of rocks the look and really knows like, I don't know, just kind of like, is there anyone that's aspirational for you both in terms of wearing denim?
Ooh, that's hard.
I tend to go for the same. It's just like probably the same as you guys. I just look at whoever the men's like. I look at Ilya. I look at you guys. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Kelly's one of my biggest inspirations. To be fair, I'm quite happy to be sat here. So yeah, it's just like. I think you.
But what about on the
Amy
women's
Leverton-
side, Amanda? What about on the
It's
women's
like-
side? Yeah.
Amy Leverton is like has
Yeah.
always been a major one for me. Like her books, she's on it all the time, and she's just the nicest person. She's always like happy to say hi, and like I'm like there like a little fangirl. Please, can you sign my denim book? So yeah, she's obviously a massive inspiration. But yeah, it's more like I follow more for inspiration like menswear. So it's more the men's. It's more people. It's more just the normal guys wearing denim. It's not so like it's no one in particular. It's just watching how people wear clothes.
Yeah, I think the same. I actually do look at menswear influencers more than I do women's, which is a bit bizarre, but yeah. I also look at a lot of like Japanese and Korean social media. So I love that because I think that there's an app that I use that's Chinese app, I think, and they have like amazing style. So I always look at on there, and it's normally always the guys that I look at for style inspiration rather than the women. Don't ask me why. I just think they're cooler.
Yeah, I guess back on the Denim Dudettes point, if I remember correctly, they did like a launch for the Denim Dudettes book specifically, and I know there's a dedicated Instagram page to Denim Dudettes that sits alongside Denim Dudes. It says that it is empowering and amplifying the voices of women and female identities, identifying creatives in the denim industry. So yeah, that's a super cool account.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I like as well, like you do this as well, Kelly, is that you can go between worlds. Like you mix the really, really geeky niche side of it with current day things that are going on today and like new releases and new trends. And it's such a hard thing to do and to be able to be respected as well. So yeah, I think that's the best thing that you guys are doing.
Oh, sweet, thanks.
And your collaboration boots were amazing, by the way.
Thank you. I should have brought them with my pile of stuff, shouldn't I? That was a super fun project to work on. I really enjoyed that because it was super creative. And even though sometimes being a designer is creative, there are so many limitations in real life. Things that cost too much money, or like, you know, just not feasible to do. Whereas this project, they really kind of didn't care about how much money it was going to cost. They really wanted me to be super creative and do what we both wanted. So that for me was a win, like the best partnership. And that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love doing what I do, because it's like super creative and I love kind of doing crazy things like that.
And for anyone listening that doesn't know exactly what we're talking about, just go Google Grinson and Kelly Harrington. There's like a YouTube video and a blog post and stuff about the collaboration that Kelly's speaking about with Grinson shoes.
Thank you.
Yeah, super cool. It's great to see kind of the denim offcuts from Black Horse Lane, and you know, kind of that idea of like sort of upcycling are kind of byproducts of making clothes. Like I know I've got some patterns to make some shirts and I've bought fabric and stuff, and I've just kind of keep lamenting actually making something. So I'm like, I don't really want to make or create, you know, pieces of fabric that I then need to figure out what to do with. And it's almost kind of it almost like limits me wanting to be creative. So I'm like, what do I do with this stuff after I've cut it up, you know, the extra pieces? And just the idea of being able to like almost like recycle everything makes it feel a bit less less egregious. But I'm guessing Lex is like, you fool, you must break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Well, zero waste cutting is a big thing these days, so you could try working out how to make your shirt without any waste.
Does zero waste cutting kind of like throw aside the whole notion of like warp and weft directions and just kind of embrace whatever angle you need to place something to cut it right?
Not necessarily, but normally. So there's lots of slightly different ways of approaching it, but essentially it's about trying to kind of obviously create the garment and cut the garment in a way so that you have zero waste. It's a really interesting thing, but from a practical point of view, it's not something that can be done very easily on a large scale, because once you do it for one size, how do you then do it for a different size? If you do it for like a size 10, say in women's wear, and then you have to grade it to a size 14, you have to completely rethink it.
It's hard to scale, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to scale. So there's lots of smaller brands doing really interesting stuff with it. There's someone on Instagram, I think it's called Decode. It's a designer in Portland who went to the Royal College and worked with Mosen there, and she does some really interesting stuff with zero waste denim. And I think she runs the ZWD, Zero Waste Design, ZWD something website. Is a zero waste design kind of group, and they all kind of input like various zero waste design methodologies, but they share all their stuff, so you can go on there and learn about ways of creating garments with less waste.
It's super cool that students these days that's really what they're kind of into and being taught a lot of at school now. I find it super inspiring.
All of the university courses have a focus on sustainability to some level. So when I was a student, I don't even think it was mentioned. I mean, we are talking 20 odd years ago, but I do not remember a single lecture about the environment or saying maybe you should design stuff that's better for the environment.
Nice.
Whereas these days, it's a core part of the curriculum is trying to get students to think about making their garments more ethical and better for the environment and less wasteful. I find there's a real kind of split between the students. So many students are really environmentally conscious, and it's a real big part of their process. But then quite often we still do get quite a lot of students that just don't really think about it, and they just want to make clothes. But I think it is positive. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but I think actually, if you are a denim lover, you automatically love something that lasts, because it's ingrained in you that having a pair of jeans for a really long time, they become better.
Yeah, I think denim, despite all of the issues with water usage and chemicals from dyeing, I think it's still one of the more sustainable fabrics for that reason, because it's one of the few fabrics that gets better with age.
Yeah, 100%. Unless you're buying fast fashion jeans.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, then it doesn't apply, of course, but
I think it's so hard in the industry. Like if you work in any of the sector of clothing, fashion industry, just for one, you're making product that's going out into the world, so you're never going to be sustainable because you're making another thing.
yeah.
And like obviously in the fashion industry, like it's hard to change big ships. It's hard to change retailers' minds. It's hard to change consumers' minds. And that's why I like moved away from the supplier side, and I did freelancing for a bit because I couldn't handle the fact that I was doing this to the world. But it also meant I had to move away from something I really loved. So obviously, like when I was freelancing, I joined Clovercom, and that was really fun, and I got to learn all about the premium denim and the community side of it. But I'm back in the fashion side of it, and I'm working for a retailer now. But I kind of feel like if you're not in it, you can't do anything to change it. So at least with my knowledge, I can try to like shift that kind of into more sustainable practices. Otherwise, we're not doing anything to change things.
Yeah,
that's a good point, because I think like folks love to sort of stand on the sidelines of anything and tell you how it should be done or how it could be done, but they don't understand all of the nuance and detail and like how you actually make marginal gains. And it's like, yeah, sure, that sounds easy on paper to go from X to Y, but have you actually tried to do that? Because it's damn near impossible to even nudge X a bit. So yeah, I totally respect that. Are there designers or craftspersons that are working with denim that you think we should be looking more closely at? So you mentioned Decode is someone doing something really cool. Like, are there other either designers, makers, craftspersons that you think are worth a shout?
I'd like to say, so when I was working at Clovercom, there was obviously loads of makers, and there was Jess. She's the Poor Will. I'd have to find it on its. Yes. Oh my God, she's amazing. And the last I saw her on Instagram, she was trying to start a Discord for makers. And she was the one that ran the denim bingo when we did the global denim hang. And it was amazing. It was so good. She's like totally underrated, and she makes amazing like leather goods. And so yeah, I definitely want to shout her out as a maker to have a look at.
It looks like it's The Poor Will Way. And also looks like she's got a podcast called Machine Wash Cold Club, which sounds like gotta check that out.
I'm not sure how active she still is, because she used to be very, but yeah,
I think she dips in and out, so yeah, just watch out for her.
I guess most makers are so busy making stuff and creating that the digital side can sometimes be a secondary focus rather than the primary one.
I think life gets in the way as well. Like you still need to have a life, don't you?
Can't break in your denim if you're just sitting there online all day. You got to go out and I don't know, dig some trenches or cut down some trees or something.
There is I think she's a graduate, and during lockdown she did this thing where she made a pair of jeans every day, and she was amazing, and now I can't remember her name, which is really annoying me. And I absolutely loved it. I don't know if it was I'm trying to find it now. but it was so cool. It was like she made a pair of jeans, or like she made outfits in denim every day during lockdown. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it because I think that you told me about it last time we met.
Yeah, I absolutely loved her. She's like so cool and super creative and making all these outrageous kind of cuts and like totally amazing. Like I've never seen anything like it. And I'm dying to remember her name and now I can't. Hang on.
I thought
There
doing
was-
Inktober was hard a couple years ago, where I had to like do a drawing every day for 31 days, much less make a pair of clothing.
Yeah, I couldn't make a pair of jeans a day. I don't know how people do it. Let's.
I'm trying to find her.
There is somebody local in Manchester. She's Neve from Nemsey. She's been doing some really good stuff, and she's in Manchester, so she's a cool one to watch.
And how do you like what's their Instagram handle?
It's Nemsey, so it's NEMCEE.
MC.
She's been down to I think the meet once or twice before. Down to London, so you might have met her.
We met her. We did, I think, when we went to Little Creatures. I think.
Yeah,
or beer and burger. One of the two.
One of our usual places.
Yes.
Oh yeah, cool. So it looks like they've got a website as well, so that's a good shout.
Oh my god, I still can't find her. You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna find it when we're off.
Well, once Kelly remembers, we'll post it to the Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, and
It's so good.
the guys doing the Black Horse Lane wash house. Is it Sally and Leanne? Doing
Leanne,
the wash house in
Leanne.
the UK. That's amazing. I can't wait to hopefully I can go and have a look at that at some point if they're listening. Please invite me.
You're always welcome to come over. So just swing by.
It's not open yet though, is it?
It's not, but it's set up, so you can pop in and you can have a look. And Leanne will be happy to give you a little tour, and she loves talking about it. So definitely come by.
Do you have a laser machine as well?
We do, yes.
Does that mean I can write Kelly all over my jeans?
You can do, yeah. You can do like a little pattern, like
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton. That's been fun to watch. That's been fun to watch to see how that progresses, and
It's incredible.
It's really interesting to see from that point of view. We're still in the early stages, but I think given a few more months and more experimentation, it'll be interesting to see what develops from it. And obviously, people coming in from universities and clients as well, that's going to really drive how things develop with it. So
it just seems like something that should have been done years ago. Like
100%,
surely we should have washing house here, and just for the education, like you said, for students seeing how something's actually washed. Because I know they've got the whole setup in Amsterdam, but like we're a making country, like we should have that here.
Yeah, it was lockdown that kind of pushed those things to happen closer to home, maybe.
I think in a lot of industries, a lot of people were starting to support things being made in Britain and close by, or not even just maybe made in Britain, but all over the world. I think people were looking for small makers and trying to support small businesses, and I think that's filtered through post-COVID as well. I think people are a lot more conscious of trying to support those brands, whereas I think there's been a return to the high fashion and stuff like that, but I think a lot of people have turned that corner and are more conscientious about their spending, choices. So that's definitely a big plus from out of that.
It's interesting too on the kind of notion of like keeping not losing track of the heritage and like keeping things, you know, where they were before as a part of kind of maintaining history. It's also worth mentioning too, because I don't think enough people know about it, but the White Oak Legacy Foundation, who were trying to kind of preserve the history of cone mills, set up Proximity Manufacturing Company, which makes Proximity Denim, which is basically trying to recreate old cone mills denim in the same factory on the same site with a lot of the same staff. And I think that's super cool to kind of say like, hey, big corporation, you can shut this thing down, but we'll just buy it and reopen it and keep doing it the same way. I thought that's really cool. And I think more folks should definitely be looking at Proximity Denim, especially if you're like, oh man, I wish I could have got this thing from cone mills and they still existed. And it's like, well, in spirit, they still do. And they're still making cool fabrics that keep the cone mills spirit alive. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of like switching gears a bit, what do you both is kind of the most exciting or fun part about being around denim? Like what do you like most about it?
The community.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's a very big part for me.
Wah, wah.
It sounds really corny, but it's true. Like, I think it's so cool that we all have like a something that we love, and I think the community makes it 100%.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed how much the community was important until I worked with Ben at the shop, because the way he was able to harness that kind of feeling and gather people together and just get that spirit of community was just incredible. Like I didn't know it was all there, and then like obviously from the global denim hangs that we did, and like it was epic. I just felt like it was such a good, it feels like a space in time that's gone and won't ever be back again. Obviously we've still got this community here, and I wouldn't have got to know a lot of you guys if it hadn't happened, but yeah, it's brilliant bringing people together, like sharing a niche love of something. And yeah, it's just like I call myself a denim tourist because like obviously all my holidays are based around going to visit a denim shop. Like it's like, oh my god, there's this cool denim shop I've seen on Instagram, let's go there for a holiday. Like literally every year my holiday is Amsterdam because Kingpins is there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the UK denim hang we did when we all came up to Manchester for the day, and then like the 2 global denim hangs online. Those are definitely like moments in time that they kind of stick with you. And yeah, they were just kind of like basically physical or virtual hangouts with us in this community in different shapes and fashions. But yeah, I remember actually the episode y'all did. I think it was called like Selvedge Sisters, where it was basically a whole group of women together that were, speaking about their love for denim is I think what was probably the main inspiration to do this episode of the podcast. So that's super cool. Kind of a slightly random question. If you had to estimate the percentage of conversation when we're hanging out physically or digitally that actually is about denim versus everything else in life, what percentage would you break that down as?
I think it's about 30%, is it?
It depends who you're talking to, I'd say.
Yeah,
I think once we break down what everyone's wearing, like, oh my god, that's such a cool jacket, and then you go into like the details of where it's from, like where it's like, yeah, and then it goes into just chat.
So it's like a procession, like a processional thing to say, all right, let's break down what everybody's got on, and what are you wearing that we haven't seen before, and where did you get that new tear, repair, patch on your old stuff. And then we just talk about all the pain in the ass things you have to deal with in life, like death and taxes and you know, getting your next beer and all that stuff.
Coffee and yeah.
I bring that up because I know there's probably a lot of folks who like see us saying, you know, come hang out with us in London or attend one of our events, and they're probably like, oh God, I can't talk about denim all day long. But I guess neither can we.
My girlfriend thinks that we just meet up and talk about denim for like 4 hours straight. I'm like, no, we do talk about denim. We talk about other stuff as well.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's probably a pretty common misconception about us.
Maybe next meet I'll kind of bring like a bell of some kind, and anytime anyone talks about anything other than denim, I'll ring the bell and I'll be like, back to denim. It's all you're allowed to talk about. I'll be
Surely
like,
it should be shots every time we mention denim.
That would be dangerous.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. Next meet, can we play a denim-based drinking game?
Yes.
I'll work out the rules. I mean, that's gonna be very dangerous.
Oh Lord. Yeah, the thing that was kind of a bit implicit there, but no one actually said it, but is probably worth mentioning, is that yes, it may only be 30% denim, but technically speaking, it's also 30% leather goods on top of that, and then 40% actual life.
And boots, yeah, like a lot of boot talk.
Yeah.
I noticed there's a lot of boot talk.
It's funny because like I listen to the Stitch Down podcast a lot, and they've tried to build this podcast just about footwear, you know, shoes, boots, and all that kind of stuff. And we've tried to build this podcast just about, well, I guess somewhat just about denim. But the Venn diagram, it's like you can't really be into denim and not be into boots and leather goods, and you can't really be into boots and leather goods and not be into denim, except maybe if like you've got vegan philosophies around leather. But otherwise, it's like the two go hand in hand so much.
Yeah.
David, what do you think the Venn diagram is between kind of like denim, boots, and board games? Because there seems to be, out of us lot, quite a lot of people that are into geeky board games.
Actually, it's four. There's four people in that group, and it's me, me, Andy, Tom, and our friend Ben, who is usually with us and hanging out. We've got like a WhatsApp where the four of us. It's called Denim and Dice, and it's basically like Warhammer and denim talk, and that's it.
But is that just a coincidence with our group of friends that happens to be four people that like computer games, or is there a weird link between between board games and denim?
Well, the common thread across all of these is two things. One, these are all things that you can like really geek out about and obsess about and like get consumed by, and consequently, because of capitalism, they're things that you can collect, right? So you can collect vintage goods, you can collect, I don't know, different. You can almost like collect patina is the thing, right? Like, you know, which kind of garments am I breaking in and how they look, in the same way that you can collect, you know, board games and or vinyl records or anything else, right? It's just something that you can obsess about and go down the rabbit hole.
It appeals to the slightly obsessive nature that some people have, which is why denim people generally kind of really into beer, and they'll buy really expensive fancy beers or like nice coffee, or I know there's a few people I follow on Instagram that like nice cigars, or that kind of obsessive nature that we have.
Yeah, and I used to use this term called qualiteer, which is like someone who just obsesses about quality and whatever they're into. Whether it's like your coffee brewing equipment, you want the best brewing equipment. Whether it's your jeans, you want the best jeans. Whether it's your fountain pens, you want the best fountain pens. Whatever. But I think that there's this weird irony with clothing in that the more you collect, the less great each thing's going to be, because you'll have less chances to wear it, right? And I guess maybe you could say the same thing about like the more vinyl you have, the less often you play each record, or you know. More books you've got, the less often you reread the books. But yeah.
I do also think that like, so we're quite into coffee. That seems to be another kind of subculture, but there always seems to be like a good coffee shop somewhere where there's also a good denim shop. They seem to like, so if you find a good coffee shop, it's kind of normally a good area. So that's, and it is like weird tourism, like, yeah.
It's really funny when I lived in
yeah.
Go ahead, Elliot.
I was just saying they go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, it's
So
funny. I
we
lived in
need to
San
have a
Francisco.
coffee shop now. We need a coffee shop, a denim coffee shop.
Well,
I've seen
Definitely.
someone do this actually.
yeah, Clutch Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have indigo tea.
CKX Studio in Amsterdam was it blue cappuccinos?
Yeah, blue. Yeah, with spirulina, right? I think.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And in Japan, they have on Denim Street, they have indigo tea and indigo ice cream, and everything is like blue. Someone needs to do that.
Yeah, I remember there's a shop in Paris. I'm assuming it's still around, but maybe not, called V Barber and Sons, I think it was. And it was like half kind of menswear shop with a large bit of denim, and the other half of it was both a barber's and a coffee shop. So you could like go in to get your hair cut and get a latte while you're getting your hair cut, I guess, and then like pick up a pair of jeans or vice versa. So that kind of cross pollination. And I guess our buddy Alex in Sheffield's kind of got that same thing going, right?
Yep, I was just thinking about that. Yeah. The barber shop downstairs and a shop upstairs.
I just had a brain fart in the name. So I've been
Arnold
living
and
under,
Co.
Yes, thank you, Arnold and Co. So I've been living under a rock too long with this pandemic. Still haven't been to Sheffield. I need to go check it out.
We are
Heard it's
having
cool.
Alex has been arranging. Alex from that helped us with the hang. He has been setting up Sheffield hangs, and there is talks of one in December. So I'll let you know. I'll put it on my Instagram when we get some more details. But yeah, if anyone's up for coming up to Sheffield for a hang, please come along, because it's hard for us to get down to London up north.
Warmest time of the year too.
Probably get cancelled from snow. So
No, that'd be cool. It'd be great to go see Sheffield and hang out with some folks.
Yeah, that would be cool. I have not been.
It's nice. We really enjoyed ourselves when we went up there. And across from Arnold and Co, you've got Jojo Rag Parade. So that's a great little gem of a store.
And the very first UK denim hang was there, right? Like the one that Clobbercomb did?
Yeah, it was great. And like, talking of subcultures, it's like motorcycles as well, isn't it? That kind of side of it, because we had a lot of motorbikes there at that time, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I've got this lifelong challenge of loving bicycles, more so than motorcycles, because I'm worried I'll die on a motorcycle. But like bicycles and denim are like anti-hobbies, because it's like if you cycle on your denim, you're going to ruin them. And if you cycle on something else, then you're not wearing your jeans. And it just drives me mad that no one's solved that problem yet.
Yeah, all of my jeans seem to fade mostly around the butt from too much cycling.
I usually put a pair in a bag and like change when I get to work. Like I'll change out of my cycling kit and like pop on a pair of jeans to work around it.
What about electric bikes? What does that not cheating?
Yeah, it's like at that point you might as well just get an engine under you.
I've got an electric bike and it's the best thing ever. Carl's struggling up the hill and I'm just like, rum.
Brilliant. Which one do you have?
Like it's a foldable one as well. It's like quite old. But when we were traveling, we went to somewhere that was really hilly, and we hired some bikes, and I was struggling so badly. And halfway round, we stopped off, and I swapped for an electric. And oh my God, I had the best time ever. When I got home, I was like, I want an electric bike.
Yeah, I know on a recent California trip for work, I was like, I guess actually pre-pandemic, so not recent anymore. I was using those like neon orange jump bikes. They're like the electric assisted ones. They're like the guys who do the scooters. And those are so awesome. Yeah, you get everywhere super fast. It's good until you're drunk, and then they're maybe not the best thing. But yeah, I can see the love. So maybe kind of a bit about comfort, we're kind of alluding to that, right? Like cycling in jeans, riding a motorcycle in jeans. Are there any advice around like how to be comfortable in raw denim? I know my partner like won't touch it because she's like convinced you can't be comfortable wearing raw denim. Like, do you have any advice for her?
I think you just have to wear them. I think they just start to mold with your body. And plus I just love the look of like Carl, like Kelly, you were saying you like one wash, but I just want to keep them completely raw. Like I love that look. Like it's just amazing.
I love a one wash because they're I find them more comfortable. Like they look raw, but they're actually like a little bit softer, tiny little bit more wearable for me.
And are specific cuts more comfortable?
Yeah, well, I tend to always wear like a straight or a baggy. So I don't like them too tight around like the hip area, because that's just like personal thing though. But yeah, I prefer a baggy pair. I'm like the bigger the better.
I think I'm the opposite. So I quite like a high-waisted, like quite nipped in at the waist and then like wide at the bottom, and like cropped. I like cropped. I don't like them going all the way. I like to see my boots or my Converse.
Yeah, I actually the same. I like a cropped even when it's baggy as well, because then it looks like I'm not wearing someone else's jeans. It looks like it's supposed to be like that.
And I guess, I mean, I hope this isn't too stereotypical, but I know like Marilyn Monroe kind of was like the original woman who made jeans look amazing. Are there any kind of tricks for anyone who like wants to have that look?
I think it's just personal styling. I think it's just purely personal taste. Like obviously that's maybe a more Levi's kind of look, I'd say. Yeah, it's just completely what you're into, I think.
Yeah, it is definitely personal preference and styling. So if you wanted that kind of look, you'd opt for like a tighter jean. But these days that would probably have some stretch in it to make it a bit more wearable.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about kind of, I mean, this is like earlier in the episode, but you mentioned about kind of like embracing new cuts or going for a looser fit. I know when I bought my first pair of regular straight jeans a couple years ago, I was like texting the guys. I was like, I gotta send them back. They look too big. I look weird. And I remember Ilya was like, no, man, stick with them. It's like a pair of Tanukis. And now that I've kind of like gotten used to a regular straight cut, I put on a pair of like tapered chinos today, like denim chinos. I was like, oh my God, they're like stuck on my legs and my feet look big and weird. And it's so crazy how like what used to be the normal, it's almost like you just get used to something and then anything that's not that same cut like looks super weird and odd. But then if you wore it long enough, you'd get used to it too. And then the other one would look weird and odd, and almost trying to be like a fit ninja that can kind of wear anything, I guess is must be where it's at.
It just takes time, I think, to cultivate what you like as well. Because I don't think you realise that you fall into this style. Like I'd only just noticed that I do just like wide leg crops, like that is my thing. And only over the past few years have I noticed that that's all I wear quite a lot. So yeah, I think it's just you're developing your own personal style, and you do tend to gravitate to those things. So I think once you've tried a lot of things, you then hone down on your style.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's very spot on.
I guess style really is that simple. It's just trying stuff out, seeing what you like, and then just rolling with it. And eventually you kind of find your thing, and then like, boom, you've got a style, and that's your style, and it's cool. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, because like it's yours and you made it.
If you like it, wear it.
100%.
Cool. So maybe kind of jumping into a couple of the questions, if that's all right, that folks sent in. So one is, yeah, actually, I think we've already covered that one. So Blues and Brews was saying how and why you found an interest in denim. I think we covered at the beginning, but is there anything that you want to add on that one?
I don't think so, but yeah, it mainly just started when I was young. I had an interest in it, and then because I'm a fashion designer and I shop a lot of vintage, it's actually like part of my job to I'm like a vintage archivist, so I would shop a lot of vintage, and I'd go to a lot of flea markets around the world, like Los Angeles and Japan, and I would just gravitate towards the denim pieces for my own collection. And I found some amazing pieces there. Yeah, and it's just because I found that it's something that I always wear. It doesn't ever go out of fashion, and it's not trend led, even though I do wear some crazy trend pieces sometimes. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons. Like, it was like a blank canvas for me. And also shopping vintage jeans was like a way that I could be sort of different from everyone else. You know, like if you don't buy off the peg items, then you're always going to look unique or like a bit different. And I love that. So that was right up my street.
I'll throw a quick question in there. I know with menswear, I'm often finding these days that, like, if I go to Grailed or I go to eBay, there's like a treasure trove of stuff where someone bought something and they never wore it, or they bought it and they wore it a couple times, and either way they're selling it on. And so I can get like some really nice stuff for half of what it would cost new, or even better deals that like isn't really even broken in yet, so I can still break it in myself. Are there any good places for that to find that kind of stuff in women's wear?
I definitely think Depop and Vinted are my favourites at the moment. I think Vinted because obviously people are putting maybe things on there that they maybe aren't as sure what they are, and there's a lot of vintage you can find. You can find some real gold on there, and also like I think it's cheaper like as well if you want to sell stuff on there, and it just seems to be a more bubbling, easier one, whereas everyone else is charging quite a lot. But Depop's quite good for like if you're looking for more interesting pieces, more trend-led pieces, and yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. I'm loving Vinted because you can get some random stuff on there. Like I keep looking for crochet blankets for some reason because I just love all the colours they use on them.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I shop on Depop. I've sold on Depop. I've just started Vinted. I have sold my items to like blogger websites. I love a charity shop. I love I love rummaging through a charity shop. I'm finding a pair of gem jeans for like £10. There's no better thrill than that, I think. And I also equally go to like flea markets in town, like Portobello. I love finding secondhand pieces. I also wear a lot of a brand called Marquise Almeida, and I bought that quite a lot new, but I also buy that secondhand as well. And I've got some amazing pieces that I've bought secondhand on Depop or even Facebook Marketplace, because some people don't know the value of an item. So yeah, I love searching.
Yeah, the thrill of the hunt's half the fun of, I guess,
Yeah, 100%.
getting that grail piece that you didn't know you'd ever find again.
Yeah, and some of my most favorite pieces have been from charity shop finds. They're not necessarily like super collectible. They're not like really old, or they're not biggies or anything like that. It's just purely because I've got something unique about them. Maybe someone's patched them up, or someone shredded them all, or I just love stuff like that. I gravitate towards that kind of thing. So some of my, and they've been like, you know, £5, £10 bargains that I love.
I think I keep buying Wrangler denim jackets and the Maverick ones because I just love that they're a broken twill, and the washes are incredible, but I have to stop buying them. I've got too many. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them all.
You're definitely talking to the wrong person if you're asking how many jeans I've got.
So Kelly, quick question, and I guess Amanda as well. How many pairs of jeans do you think you own?
You mean like that I wear, or that like we collect, or that?
No, what you own and collect, not just wearing, but ones that you own. Is it higher or lower than 100, do you think?
Higher.
Whoa.
For sure.
Do I have to do a tour one day?
I don't feel so bad anymore.
I think because when you're a designer and you're shopping, you pick up stuff while you're shopping, and like you'll pick up something for work and then something for yourself, and then like that's for the archive.
Yeah. So I've got jeans that I wear, and then I've got jeans that I use for reference or like style reference. It doesn't even have to be jeans. It can be like indigo samples, or like a pair of Japanese karate pants, or like indigo things. So that's like in the pile of research. That's what I call it. Yeah, but I've definitely got a lot. I've never counted because it's probably too many.
Do you have a dedicated room?
I have a very large like shelf, or like a racking system that's to the ceiling. And then I have some archive things that are in the shed boxed up because I can't keep them all in the house. I need a studio so I can put them all in one place, I think.
So with chili peppers, at some point someone invented the Scoville chart to like gauge how spicy something was. So like 10 Scoville units is like a bell pepper, right? And like 10,000 Scoville units, whatever, is like a ghost chili. It feels like we need to invent a scale here for indigo collection, and it's going to be in terms of Rudy units, right? So
yeah,
it's
I was
like,
gonna say I'm not a Rudy level.
Yeah.
Rudy.
What are you on the Swiss jeans scale? You know, how many Rudy points?
Oh my God, he's got a lot. He's got way more. So I feel a bit better now.
Yeah.
Do you say like 1% Rudy, or like 5% Rudy, or?
I think 3, maybe 3. See, I've got the added, like, obviously my husband Carl is also into denim, so he's very understanding with my denim collections. Obviously probably would prefer it not to take over the whole house, which it does.
Take over the whole house.
Yeah.
Mine's been segregated.
Yeah, my denim's been banished to my studio as well.
Yeah, I've got some denim themed things, but everything is in one area.
I need to get my cats wearing denim.
What do you mean, you don't already?
No, but I have thought about making them like little denim bandanas or capes or something. I don't know. Yeah, they don't at the moment, but I'll find a way. I bet they'd love to just scratch the shit out of my jeans though, and just help fade them for me. It's like a little wash house.
You have a shredded look.
There you go. Cat fades.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess next question from Buster the Human, which is technically 2 questions. Is it difficult finding brands that cater to women's sizing? Also, what brand do you wish would make a women's line?
Whoa, that's interesting. Well, I really like, is it TCB or Is it TVC? Oh, I don't know.
TCB.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
TCB,
So they
yeah.
already do a women's line, so that's dead
TCB.
good. Yay! They're
Good
really
Cats
good.
brand.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to launch 4 Cats brand. So I got 4. So TCB's already making women's stuff, or you wish they
Yeah,
would do?
they're already doing denim, women's denim, because they've sent some out to somebody I was looking at the other day. So yeah, they're doing awesome things. I'm not sure which brands I'd want to do. All brands, but then everyone's it's kind of unisex, so it doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't really, you don't have to have men's and women's anymore. It's what you put on it. If you call that a men's jean, then everyone's going to think it's a men's jean, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is.
Yeah, that's true actually. What brand do I wish had? I do like, but I would wear them anyway, even though they were men's. But Warehouse, they don't have women's, do they? I love their washes, so I would say that. But I would wear the men's styles.
That's interesting. 'Cause those are both like really classic aesthetics with those brands. Kind of timeless aesthetics.
Yeah. What other brands that only have men's?
Or maybe to ask the question differently, what brands do you wish made garments that you would want to wear, or like garments that would work for you or that would fit in your style that maybe don't have what you want? So it's like, God, I love that brand, but they don't make what I want, just more generally.
Actually, I do wish that denim brands would make more denim dresses in a kind of like utility way, if that makes sense. Because you can get like denim dresses, but they've always got like frills and shit all over them. And I wish that there would be more kind of like tunics or dresses or like short coats or like other items other than just.
You want a workwear dress?
Yeah.
Should we design one?
Yes, please.
Should we make one?
I've already got an idea. Yeah. Yeah. I like those kind of other items that you can get in denim. Like I love a denim dress or a denim tunic. Yeah, so I wish brands would do other items.
It's funny you say that, because I remember 99% Invisible podcast did a sub series that was like a collaboration podcast. I think they were called Articles of Interest, and like each episode was like deep diving on some kind of element of clothing. Like one was all on what's it called, Aloha shirts, and then they did one on pockets, and they were basically talking about how like historically women's wear always was like chock full of like tons of super useful pockets and like super functional, and that it talked about kind of over time how pockets just kind of like disappeared from women's wear, even though it like that used to be like the super important.
Yeah, it's probably because it's more expensive. Take away the pockets, cheaper.
Make them shorter so you can't see them.
Yeah.
There's a big thing, isn't there, in the women's kind of denim jeans kind of. There's a joke that you never get a pocket because they make them short.
It's so small you can't put anything in them. Yeah, this is another reason why I shop men's jeans, because they have really spacious pockets. You can even fit your phone in it.
Yes, phones keep getting bigger.
That makes sense. Yeah, I always hated the brands who had small pockets.
Yeah, like what's the point?
Yeah. So maybe one more question. This comes from our buddy Ricky, who's Moon Anchor Son on Instagram. I'm going to avoid one of his questions because it's really, really political, and maybe ask his second question, which is not so political, because the first one's getting into fast fashion, and that can be a whole nother can of worms. But he says, have you ever convinced female friends to join our community? And if so, how? And maybe we should say anyone who identifies as a woman in joining our community. And if so, how? And if not, how would you do so?
Ooh, to join the community.
But yeah, just to kind of get into our denim and whatever else you want to call it, world community.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of people I reach out to on social media, and I think the good thing about denim is, for like our denim hangs or our denim group or like the community in general, is that everyone's always welcome because everyone owns a pair of jeans. So I
It's the
always,
most democratic community ever.
yeah.
I think we'd even let you in if you didn't have a pair of jeans as well.
Yeah, which I have often arrived in not in a pair of jeans. Yeah, or they've been like crazy jeans that aren't Selvedge and I was still allowed in.
Yeah, please don't do that again, Kelly.
It's
Otherwise
interesting.
I get banned.
It's only so many times we can allow that.
It's interesting because definitely like with the interest in, let's say, raw denim, that's almost like just like a starting point, right? And we all kind of branch out in different directions, whether it's like getting into chambrays, getting into weird home dyed indigo fabrics, getting into, you know, your herringbone twills and your kind of more military inspired stuff, or, you know, it's
Hawaiian
definitely,
shirts.
yeah, aloha shirts, and that whole kind of rabbit holes, I guess.
Hawaiian shirts.
What's that?
I love Hawaiian shirts.
I wore one time and I felt like the weirdest person on the planet, and I was like, I just can't do this. I can't wear.
I can't imagine you in a Hawaiian shirt. Even if I close my eyes and think, let's all do that. All close our eyes and try and imagine Dave in a Hawaiian shirt.
It wasn't black, and
Can't
it was neon green, but it wasn't black or indigo. I've got pictures somewhere. I'll say that much. Cool. I guess we're kind of drawing near to the end. Are there any other like particular topics you'd like to speak to, or any kind of like shout outs you want to give, or anything else we want to cover?
Just to say thanks for having me on. It was great to get involved, and I love watching you guys, so it's nice to be on here.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really great. I think we should do a IRL soon, and maybe a denim and dine.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's interesting because like there's maybe like a closing thought or question in some ways is, you know, we did want to do this episode about kind of like women in denim and how it associates with being a woman, and maybe it's a good question to end on of like, is that even a thing, right? Should we not even be thinking that way and just saying like people in denim, you know, independent of identity, and just sort of saying like, you know, maybe that's the way that this hobby needs to change, and kind of not looking at it as like something that's like menswear, or like even I edited our podcast intro to say rugged wear, not menswear anymore. And yeah, just kind of like how do we take this hobby forward, or this community forward, and kind of like break down, I guess to say the right thing, gender walls, I think is the right term I'm looking for, or maybe not gender. I didn't. Shit. I'm not sure the right thing to say, but like, how do we make this not about menswear, about everyone wear, you know?
Yeah, for
me,
me.
Definitely think that's the case, because I think even when you sent the questions through, it was like, but this is just the same for everyone. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really love denim, because it's for everyone. And I don't even think there is a line. There's more kind of a line, I think, when you start talking about like fast fashion denim and proper denim. That there is a divide then, but I don't find that in denim there is a big kind of like divide between men and women, but mainly because I always shop in the men's department. I don't even look at sizes, to be honest. I just pick up what I think might fit. I'm not even bothered by if it's men's, if it's women's, what size it is. I will just think, ooh, this looks kind of cool.
That's gotta be liberating.
And when we think about like the fact that it coming back to the community thing again, it's open to everyone, and that's what we want. We want it inclusive. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what we like about it. That's one of the really positive things, I think.
I'm gonna try and see if I can frame the episode in some way to convey that this isn't about women in denim, it's about everyone in denim, and see what I can do there to make it correctly reflect our path forward.
It's the community, 100%, and I equally love it that there's a lot of guys in denim, and I equally love it that there's few girls. I wish there were more girls, but yeah, I love that about it. And I also love it that that it's not segregated.
All right, everyone in denim. That's the plan going forward. Cool. Well, thank you all so much. Thanks, Ilya and Lex, for helping usher us through today as well. Let me jump over to our closing notes. So again, thank you, Kelly Harrington, who can be found at KELLOUHAR on Instagram. And thank you, Amanda Barnes, who can be found at 23ounce.indigo on Instagram. Thank you, Lex and Ilya, as always. And for our listeners, please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, please follow us on Instagram at Sons of Selvedge Podcast, which might need to be called Everyone of Selvedge Podcast going forward. And lastly, please message us on Instagram with any questions you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, and reach out to us if you want to join our Discord. So thanks, everybody, and I'll stop the recording there.